Pro Wrestling Podcast.
What? No, yes.
I like that butt. I don't get it. Keep on sucking. Yes.
Welcome to the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Tommy Stryker. Joining me today is Taco.
What up?
And Joe is here.
What's up?
Joe and Taco joining again via satellite. It's a crazy summer this year. It's tough to get together. It's tough to watch all of the wrestling. We like to talk about the things that we like on this show. So I have not been watching main roster WWE the last 3 weeks. I'm aware of what's going on, but really the G1 Climax has been just taking up all of my free time. There's way too much to watch. Joe, I know you're especially frustrated because it's just been a tough summer, right?
Just so busy and just so much stuff going on, and also I technically don't have New Japan World, so I don't get to see all the stuff you guys get to see.
Right.
And so I'm just falling behind on the G1 stuff, but I mean, it's a month-long tournament with like multiple days of matches. I wouldn't be able to keep up even if I tried.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we are recording on August 1st, and it's a good time to, if you're going to sign up, now is a great time because when you sign up at the beginning of the month, you won't get double. They always charge you at the beginning of the month. So if you sign up at the end of the month, you get charged then, and then they charge you again at the beginning of the month. So now is a good time to sign up that it's at the beginning of the month. And I created a list of recommended matches that's on our website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com/G128. Or you can just go to the website, click on the menu, and you'll see the G1 Climax 28 recommended matches. It's all the matches that I recommend watching from the tournament. They're usually 4 stars or above. Some are a little bit below that. Some of them are just fun matches like a Yano match or something that's interesting or fun to watch that doesn't necessarily fall into the ranking as a star rating or whatever.
Isn't that all Yano matches?
Right, pretty much. So now would be a good time to sign up. You can go back 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, and check out the G1 Climax preview over there on the Strong Honor podcast that we also do here. And so you can check out the preview. You can look at the recommended matches, and the recommended matches are on there spoiler free, by the way. So you don't have to worry about looking up, trying to find good matches to watch, and then this guy won, and you're spoiled, and that's not as fun. It's always more fun for me anyway watching something spoiler free. So that's what's going on over on the Strong Honor side of things and the G1 Climax side of things. But Taco, I know you had a big 90s party over the weekend on Saturday, and you watched some old SummerSlams to get ready for it, and had a hell of a rager, it sounds like. So
yeah, we what was it, last week's episode? We watched that was it SummerSlam 99, the Mankind Rock trilogy. So I kind of just watched that whole event and kind of backtracked a little bit there as I was getting prepped up for the 90s party, and yeah, it helped me when I went to war with the water balloons. It was empty shells all over the place, but yeah, it was worth the casualties.
Nice. All right, well, let's dive right into to what we're talking about this week. We always start every show with #TheBest. Let us know what your best of the week are. Hit us up on the social media at BPW Podcast. Use #TheBest. Give us your best of the week, and we'll start this time with
the B stands for best.
Joe, what is your best of the week?
I gotta say, this SmackDown mini tournament and all the tag teams on SmackDown have just been killing it. They're having good matches, and I like that they're all getting involved, because last week you had Usos on commentary for Sanity and New Day. This week you have New Day with their own commentary station. They're cutting in and out between regular WWE announcers and then to the New Day announcing. And they have their own table set up with pancakes. It was just a lot of fun. And then you've got the Bar versus the Usos in a pretty good match for TV. And the Bar won, and it was awesome.
And the first time the Bar have been on TV since May, I guess.
Yeah, minus obviously last week.
Right. But the first,
damn.
So yeah, cool to see. It's nice to see them putting on a tournament here to face the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam. So what finals are next week between the Bar and the New Day? I guess is that what we got coming up next week?
Correct.
So
classic feud from Raw.
But yeah, I like both of those teams. And since the Bar has kind of been on the back burner, I think I'd like to see those guys take on the Bludgeons at SummerSlam.
Me as well.
Yeah, second that notion. Fucking 4 big dudes ready to go at it. Why not?
Taco, what is your best of the week?
The B stands for best.
My best of the week has to be that Elias Walk with Elias documentary on the network. Everybody needs to watch this. Like, you cannot call yourself, a person unless you watch this documentary. It's
I
the
am not a person.
Exactly. Well, you need to get on. You need to step up. You need to sit down. You need to get a big bowl of popcorn. Put some butter on there, some salt, and some hot sauce, and watch this documentary because it's an emotional roller coaster. You go for a ride. There has its ups, it has its downs.
If I put all that stuff on my popcorn, I might get sick.
He's gonna puke!
You're puking excitement because that's how exciting this documentary is. He shows you how passionate he is for his music.
I'll say this much: since I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown, We just got done watching NXT. We record this on Wednesday nights, and they showed a preview for the Elias documentary on there. And I must say, I'm very intrigued to see how this thing plays out, because it's like Elias is doing his thing. He's in the full character, and he's in there with recording studio people and everyday real life people, and the everyday real life people are playing it straight up, and Elias is doing the thing in full character. And so just that,
yeah, for real, it's fucking hilarious.
Yes, it looks really fun. So I'm looking forward to.
I'll be watching
Michael
it.
Cole during the thing is fucking selling it like, this is like one of the best albums since the Beatles and stuff. It's like, you fucking idiot.
So now, so was last week? Did they put out some kind of album? I kind of heard something about this, but is there an actual series of songs that you can either download
it's like 4 or 5 songs? You can get it on iTunes, Google Music, wherever albums are sold, and it's already climbing the charts.
And this is for sale. People are buying this.
Yeah.
Is it any good? Did you hear any of it, or is it just more of?
Oh, it's amazing!
It's going to be a hit. People are going to be singing around the campfires.
So it's basically just more of Elias, but recorded professionally.
It's great.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's only like 15-20 minutes long, not even. So it's a short listen, but you'll laugh. It'll crack you up.
All right, fine. My best of the week is a bit repetitive here, considering my best of the week the last couple of weeks.
The B stands for best.
But I got to go.
Mojo Rawley.
I got to go back to the G1. Again, it's all I've been watching. It's all I've really had time for. I mean, 5 shows within the last week. What else am I going to do? I didn't have time to watch anything else. I wanted to check out Impact, the post Slammiversary Impact. I wanted to check out that MLW Battle Riot. I didn't have time. I had no time. So I was just watching the G1. I am loving my favorite thing going on in the G1 right now is the Juice Robinson story. He's cutting great promos. We played most of one of his promos over on Strong Honor today. But
twice.
He's just cutting these great, passionate promos. He's just dying to get a win. He finally got a win this week. He's starting to get some momentum. He has no chance of winning the tournament now, but he's just telling great stories in his matches. He's in the tournament with a broken hand. He's got this soft cast on his hand, but because it's a cast with a piece of plastic in it, he can't use his dominant left hand to punch. It's an illegal foreign object, so he's been handicapped. His one of his biggest moves is the punch. And finally this week he got fed up, he got frustrated enough and pissed off. He peeled that damn cast off and punched Sonata in the face, hit him with the pulp friction, and got the big win. So, like I said, loving the G1, loving Juice, loving all the stories. The fucking Omega's going undefeated so far. Naito only has the one loss to Omega. You got Tanahashi, the former ace, just killing things in the A block, having great matches with a guy like Yoshihashi. I talked about all of this on Strong Honor this week, but I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version here. But Tanahashi in a match with Yoshihashi actually made me I was rooting for Yoshihashi. I've never done that before in my life. So that's your
wow.
G1 is great, and Okada, of course, has been looking great, having great matches, coming out with his fucking balloons and his cutoff T-shirt, losing his first couple of matches in the tournament, but now really starting to build momentum as things starting to close out here. We got one more week with like 4 or 5 shows, and then next week we'll do Strong Honor and this show, and there'll be 2 shows left. The final 2 A and B block shows will be taking place after we record next week's show. So the big preview for the finals of the tournament will be next week on Strong Honor, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here as well. Any other thoughts on the bests of the week there, since I just rambled on there for a minute?
No, we good.
No, I'm just apparently really wrong about the whole Tanahashi thing. I had him on a bad run on my picks.
Not
looking good, boys.
Taco and I've added up our picks today and talked about those over on Strong Honor too. We are both pretty much deadlocked at like 21, 22, 23 correct picks in each block, something like that. So Taco and I are really close. So
we're necking. You damn kids, and you're necking.
So there's that. All right, let's briefly talk about the news this week. Not a ton of news, but
Change the subject.
we should.
We have quite a bit of news for you.
Really, the only things I wanted to talk about outside the realm of everything else we talk about. And again, I like to keep it positive on this show, but when tragedy strikes, what can you do? 2 huge names in professional wrestling passing away this week. It was actually 3, but Bunkhouse Brown I was not familiar with at all. I don't know if either of you guys are, but Brian Christopher, Nikolai Volkov passing away the same day as Mr. Brown. I was kind of in and out of wrestling during the Brian Christopher Too Cool era, Grandmaster Sexay era. I don't have a lot of great memories of him, but he was a fun act, entertaining act out there with Too Cool and Ricochet. What I saw of him, I enjoyed. And of course, Nikolai Volkov, just, your classic 80s heel, someone for Hulk Hogan to take on back in the day, coming out and singing
Such
this.
a sweetheart in the back scenes too.
What's that, Taco?
Such a sweetheart in the behind the scenes too. Like, I've only been hearing nothing but good stories about that guy.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where I'm actually for both of these guys, but especially Nikolai Volkov. I'm excited to I'm excited to go online and see what people who know more about his history and more about the man himself are saying. I've kind of been unplugged from podcasts and the internet. I'm always like completely unplugged from podcasts and the internet on like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then I go back to work on Thursday or Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I should say. And then I go back to work Thursday and I listen to all these other podcasts of stuff that people have already been talking about. So I'm actually really excited to hear what the historians and the people that are in the know have to say about Nikolai Volkov and Brian Christopher. But Joe, what are some of your memories of Too Cool and Grandmaster Sexay and Nikolai Volkov, if you have any there?
I mean, the Too Cool phase was like right at my prime, like kid age, like teenage, and I'm watching these ridiculous guys. Like, I know they're not cool, but they're playing the act. And again, his dancing was amazing down that ramp. Like, he is just throwing everything into it. They were a fun tag team. I mean, they weren't impressive, but I went back and picked a random match, and it happened to be when they beat Edge and Christian on Raw for the tag titles, and just And then I got to watch him dance with Rikishi one last time,
Yeah. Taco, what about you?
Yeah, they're just part of the Attitude Era. They're just he was fun to watch at the time, and condolence to Jerry Lawler and his family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's very
and
sad.
One, I love the fact that he always rocked the goggles, and then he'd go up to the top, and right before he drops a leg drop, he puts the goggles on, shines them up, and then drops the leg drop.
Yeah, good stuff there. All right, let's change it up and get into some Monday Night Raw.
Change the subject. Monday Night Raw.
Again, I'm not watching, but I'm definitely keeping up on everything going on here. It's one of those.
You're just like Brock Lesnar. You're like the Brock Lesnar of the podcast world. I ain't watching that shit.
Exactly. Apparently, there's some sound bites I need to go back and get from Brock Lesnar. But I think the number one story out of coming out of Monday Night Raw for me is Brock Lesnar reading a magazine and all of the fun edits, all the fun memes of people editing different magazine covers into Brock's hunting magazine or whatever it was he was reading. I think my favorite one that I saw was the Gray's Sports Almanac coming out of Back to the Future 2. I thought that one was pretty good.
I was a big fan of the Zoo Books version.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Taco.
I lost it. Continue.
All right, so
I pulled a Joe.
So the Brock thing, right? They're teasing this dissension between him and Paul Heyman. Is this going to be an issue going into SummerSlam versus Roman Reigns? Brock Lesnar not happy with Paul Heyman. We're not friends. You're just my advocate or whatever. Go get me a steak. Meat. How about Brock Lesnar really going full heel and ordering a steak medium well?
Medium well.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good subtle heel move right there to get some heat. I love it.
So
that's like, how dare you, Brock Lesnar? A medium well steak?
So
slap yourself.
I think this is kind of clever actually, because I think the dissension possibility between Heyman and Lesnar adds a little bit of intrigue for me for this match.
Yeah, it brings in a subtle factor that it could decide the whole match. He can decide the whole match with one move, one instance. So, you never know where it could go. Or he just doesn't do anything.
Right. It could all just be a swerve, and Lesnar and Heyman are, live happily ever after, too.
Yeah, like you said, intrigue.
Everybody's upset. The internet is screaming that Braun Strowman did not even attempt to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. They're continuing on the story of him defending it against Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens teases this idea further that he ends up making Strowman lose in a match on Raw. I don't know. I part of me wishes they would have at least done something to make this Raw stand out, have Strowman attempt to cash in or do something along those lines, but they didn't do that, so I don't know, whatever.
I think you're overlooking the fact that Jinder Mahal beat Braun Strowman.
Thoughts,
Yeah,
Taco?
that's true. Nah, it is what it is. I don't know, it was just kind of what it was for a Raw. Nothing too exciting. I thought it was the most entertaining Brock Lesnar's really been on screen, with him actually talking and shit. So, I enjoyed all that back and forth segment. So.
Rollins and Drew McIntyre had, from what I understand, is a pretty entertaining match with a disappointing finish. It's typical WWE stuff.
Too many distractions.
Skullduggery. So again, Dolph Ziggler coming in, getting McIntyre DQ'd. I guess we're gonna get the rematch between.
That's a future match, though.
For the title, you think, or for which one? For Rollins and McIntyre, or McIntyre Ziggler? Who are you talking about here? You got me all confused.
I'm actually talking about McIntyre myself, but I mean, I'm looking forward still to this match. at SummerSlam, but I'm looking more forward to another Seth Rollins Drew McIntyre match that actually has a finish.
Sure. Yeah. It's nice. Rollins has really been delivering in the ring lately, but again, it's just like it's one of those things that I'm frustrated with as a viewer. Why I'm not invested in spending time and energy watching Raw is just all of these awful finishes over and over and over again. It's just like, why do I care? Why bother getting invested when I know I'm just going to get screwed every single time? And so, that's part of it. Speaking of getting screwed and screw jobs and B teams rising to the level of champion, this whole thing going on with the B team and the Revival and the Deleters of Worlds. When the B team wins the tag team championships, that diminishes the tag team championships. It also diminishes the tag team champions, the former champions, the Deleters of Worlds going into
B
their
team's undefeated.
Sure.
Get your facts straight.
Yeah. And before that, who were the B team? Nobody. And they never built them up. All of a sudden, they beat the Deleters of Worlds in singles matches to stay undefeated, and it brought the Deleters of Worlds down. Not that they were up very high anyway. Same thing with the Revival being thrown into this mix. They've booked them into this bottom-feeding tag team mess anyway. So I'm not interested in any of this, but for some reason it's on my note sheet here, and we're talking about it. So, I mean, people are into the B team, right? People are digging this.
Yeah, they're
entertaining. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining. They got their shit together. They're putting on good matches. It's the same thing every week, but you're getting a good laugh out of them, and they're the underdog story, and they're doing it. They're making it work. Like, it's about time. Little details too have been fun as hell, with like them celebrating in the back and leaving and coming back and being like, oh, let's not forget these, and grabbing the titles and walking away. So it's just like they're not used to that shit, so it's like they're on that journey there with us.
Yeah, for sure.
That, and I'm personally excited to have the Revival at least in the tag team title picture again, whether it's in this mess or not.
What on earth is going on with the Authors of Pain? Are they embroiled in something with the Titus Worldwide?
Yeah,
they're just
by Apollo Crews.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wonderful. That's good stuff right there.
Oh.
Oops.
It was that good, eh?
We know it's on Tommy's mind.
The climax is the only thing on my mind. I apologize. All right, let's talk about some SmackDown.
Change the subject. SmackDown Live.
Players, I'm going to make this a tag team match. That's what I thought. Whatevs.
Oh, please. Charlotte is back in the SmackDown picture. It's good to see Charlotte back after her surgery. She had a repair done to her breast implant. So Charlotte is back, and she gets immediately put right back into the title picture. Going to be a three-way between her, Carmella, and Becky Lynch at SummerSlam.
There's a conspiracy against Becky Lynch.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at this. I am not happy about this as the Becky Lynch fan here. I was hoping Becky Lynch would just win the thing. We could get Carmella off to the side, and then you could do the Becky Lynch and Charlotte thing maybe after that. But it does add a little bit of intrigue here into who wins? Does Becky Lynch win? Does Charlotte win, or does Carmella retain? I hope not. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad to see Charlotte back, but I was just hoping for the singles match at SummerSlam.
You and a lot of people
on SmackDown was straight fucking fire. You guys know that.
What was that again, Taco? You kind of both were talking at once there.
Carmella's promo on SmackDown was fucking awesome. Like, it was just her pretty much backing what everybody's been saying on the internet. She can't wrestle, don't deserve this. Becky's the better wrestler. Her doing the typical heel shit, getting sympathy and just shoving it in everyone's face. Like, but it was good, and it proved why she's money.
Sounds like
she's in that spot.
Sounds like she was cutting a Tamatanga style promo.
You mad?
Other stuff from SmackDown sounds like Samoa Joe cut a nice promo on AJ Styles Joe.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What I really like is him reaching over, grabbing it, getting a chair from somebody, setting it up in the ring, and sitting down for the start of the promo. You know how Samoa Joe likes to build up to the end of his promos and just going after him for being a family man, yet you're away from your family as WWE champion how many days a year, really attacking that family aspect. And I guess we're going to get the response from AJ next week.
Taco?
Oh, I was saying it's very bituminous of him.
And then only other note I have from SmackDown here was Lana and Zelina Vega had a match wrought with distractions and skullduggery. What's going on here?
Aiden English fucking up again.
Distractions. Too many distractions.
Skullduggery.
But what do you think of here's the thing. Again, we always go back to, people were treated so well back down at NXT. They teased this idea of Zelina Vega in a match for, it felt like a long time, like months and at least several months. And you had the Andrade Almas and Johnny Gargano thing going on there. They had that feud going on, and that eventually led to a Candice LeRae Zelina Vega match shortly before Andrade and Zelina got called up. And so they really built up to that well, whereas this, I mean, they built up to it, but over like a week and a half, it feels like.
Main roster for you.
Yeah.
Now. Do it. Get out.
Yeah. Anything else from SmackDown?
Yeah, it really wasn't impressive.
What? The match or the show? Or
the match.
Gotcha. Anything?
Just the match.
Okay. Anything else from SmackDown? I think I said that 3 times now.
You did. Continue on.
All right, yeah, let's change it up, huh?
Change the subject.
I want to just briefly touch on some Lucha Underground here because honestly, it was a show that was indeed on my radar until El Rey Network got dropped from Sling TV. And since that has happened, that show has just been completely off my radar. And like I listen to a lot of podcasts, a ton of wrestling podcasts. I don't listen to a specific, Lucha Underground podcast that focuses on them or anything, but I don't hear anybody talking about Lucha Underground. It just kind of feels like one of those things that just kind of fell off the face of the earth since coming back, and people aren't talking about it. There's not a lot of buzz behind it, but I know, Joe, you did get a chance to see a little bit of what's going on. You got a chance to watch Lucha Underground last week.
Yeah, and thinking back, I can remember more, and that's the problem with the show is excuse me. I like the Antonio Cueto character. I like what he's doing and everything with that story, but like the matches aren't building to anything. They're not really building up a good amount of feuds. You've got, Jack Swagger's breaking people's ankles. He opened the show breaking some guy's ankle, and other than that, like going into it, there was a match the week before where between the 7 Gift of the Gods entrance where they all wrestled, and whoever won in this battle royale got to kick somebody out of the match next week, and it just became a 6-on-6, and then Antonio turns it into a 3-on-3 the following week, and then it becomes a triple threat of whatever team wins. You know how the Lucha Underground.
Yeah, it sounds like Antonio has a little bit of Russo in him, possibly.
My botch.
Yeah, possibility. I mean, he's having his son Matanza sacrifice people. Matanza's a god now.
Right. I that was the last one that
bad god to me.
That's the last one I saw when Antonio gave Matanza the key to life or whatever, or the key to the gods, and he became a god, but he sacrificed the fact that it's not his son anymore because he is a god. So now the god has been
and now he's sacrificing people.
Okay. Taking the lives. Has he sacrificed anybody interesting, or has it just been kind of your rabbit tribes and whatnot?
basically, I do like this aspect of it, but Antonio Cueto's taking a look at all the contracts in Lucha Underground, and he's trimming the fat.
Right on. All right, let's move a bit along here. We'll change it up here.
Change the subject.
I'm playing the Impact, the old Impact theme here to signify that we're going to talk some Impact here. We didn't talk about in our pre-show meeting here or whatever, talking Impact or anything like that, but I did want to briefly bring it up just because it was a show that had a lot of buzz coming out of Slammiversary. I wanted to watch it last week. Again, I just didn't have the time, but it is one of those shows where they've got some stars. It feels like they're building up guys to be stars. Brian Cage feels like a guy that they're really building up. He's the new X Division champion. Just had the rematch on this week's TV versus Matt Sydal. They had a match at the pay-per-view and then had the rematch on TV this week where he won again. So they're really building him up. I like that Austin Aries is still on top of that promotion, just beating Moose for the championship. LAX is made some news this week because I believe it's going to be those guys taking on. Now, who was it? It was somebody on the Jericho cruise, I want to say.
The Bucks.
Is it the Bucks and Jericho versus, or is it just a straight up tag match? Because I know the
Young Bucks versus LAX.
Because they teased the Bucks teaming up with Chris Jericho on the cruise, so maybe Conan gets in there with with LAX.
I thought they were doing that against fucking Omega and Skrull. I don't know.
Well,
we need some research.
Well, I guess they could do more than one match on the Jericho cruise too. So there's that.
Yeah,
but
I think they're doing 2 matches at least.
Okay, well that makes sense because it's the thing goes for several days, I imagine. So it's a cruise, so they're probably going to wrestle more than once, I imagine. So there's that. I'm trying to think here because there was the All In news, but that doesn't really apply to anybody that's out of Impact since we're kind of talking other than like Ray Phoenix is doing some stuff for Impact. They announced a big match with Phoenix, Bandito, and Rey Mysterio Jr. versus the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi at All In. That's going to be a fucking banger right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Impact is something that's definitely on my radar. I just haven't been able to get to it. The G1 is it's too great and I can't miss it. And it's taken up all the time right now. Did either of you get a chance to, I think we talked about this on our pre-show meeting as well, but the MLW Battle Riot that we talked about last week on the show. Again,
nope.
It's something I want to see, just haven't had a chance to see. But yeah, so definitely check out Strong Honor. Check out the all the G1 talk to Ring of Honor over there as well. The biggest story right now out of Ring of Honor is the SCU kind of turning babyface and trying to earn their keep in the Ring of Honor promotion and keep their jobs by the end of the year. And also the Jay Lethal story that it's been kind of quiet the last few weeks, but he is their new champion, and we did finally see a promo from him this week on Ring of Honor TV. But again, with the controversy going on, is that something they stick with? Who knows? So we're kind of staying tuned in to see what's going on the Ring of Honor side of things as well.
Well, and as long as we're bringing up like stuff I forgot to bring up last week, you should definitely check out last week's 205 Live episode.
Oh, yes,
There's
yes.
a 4-way for the number one contendership, and it was a banger.
Yeah, we're kind of bouncing around to a lot of different subjects here, but yeah, again, that's another one on my radar. When I watch it, I enjoy it, but I didn't have time this week, didn't have time last week, but yeah, I know 205 Live has been killing it. Any thoughts on that one, Taco?
Yeah, 205 is just worth watching in general to me every week.
And it sounds like they're going to do a cruiserweight match at SummerSlam. The Drew Gulak versus
pre-show
versus Cedric Alexander. That's what everybody's saying. Is it's probably going to end up on the pre-show with little time, but
that's fine. I'm cool with pre-shows. Just make them worth watching.
Yeah, and have it be a good match. Have it be a 205 Live worthy match, because the matches that are actually on 205 Live are good matches, usually worth watching. So there's that.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think, because I was really into the Buddy Murphy story on 205, and I know he recently kind of hooked up with who did he start hanging out with? The Tony Nese, I think. Tony Nese. And so they kind of started working together. I imagine they're doing some tag team stuff now.
They haven't done any of the tag team stuff right now. They're basically just terrorizing the Lucha House Party, or as Nigel likes to call them now, the Loser House Party.
Nice.
Dorks.
Right on. All right, well, let's change it up one more time here and talk about our retro recommendation.
Subject.
Oh, we gotta pump that thing up.
Retro recommendation.
Now, in keeping in theme of our show being all over the place this week and kind of a mess, nothing will change when it comes to this subject. Neither Taco and I were able to get to watch our retro recommendation that we put out there last week on the show. It was indeed Bret the Hitman Hart versus Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship at the 1991 SummerSlam event. I did not get a chance to watch it. This was not one of the SummerSlams that Taco threw on in preparation for his 1990s party.
Yep. Basically watched every other SummerSlam except for 91.
So I got right before we sat down to record, I threw it on. I didn't get a chance to get to the match at all, but like the opening video package was it was so
amazing,
so early 90s WWF. You got Vince McMahon yelling, yeah, because this was the Macho Man wedding SummerSlam. So he's like, a match made in heaven and then a match made in hell, and so McMahon doing his thing, and I did catch the Mr. Perfect promo going into the match, but I just didn't have time to get to the match itself. So yeah, classic Mr. Perfect, of course, there. But Joe, you did get a chance to watch it. Talk about this retro recommendation.
One, it is a decent length match between these two, and it is an old-fashioned wrestling match. Like, they are throwing each other in headlocks. Like, when Bret Hart throws Mr. Perfect in a headlock, he doesn't just grab him. He flips him over his body almost every single time. And then you've got Mr. Perfect tripping Bret Hart on a constant basis, just getting him down. You've got... and so many like classic people that you know, because you've got Earl Hebner refereeing, you've got Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart in the ring, you've got Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, and Roddy Piper on fucking commentary.
What about the Governor Gorilla?
No governor.
No governor this time.
No, and I think this was the first time someone kicked out of the Perfect Plex as well. Bret Hart kicks out of the Perfect Plex in this match, and it people went crazy. Mr. Perfect's tights, like one of the arms is ripped completely, like halfway through the match, and then at the end of the match, for absolutely no reason, Bret Hart rips the rest of his tights off.
Oh, is this the one where he ends up running around in his underwear or whatever?
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, classic stuff.
Bret Hart's first singles.
And also Gorilla Monsoon made a Bret Hart Suplex City, the originator of the Suplex City.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
What were you saying there, Taco, about Bret Hart there?
I was gonna say, isn't that Bret Hart's first singles championship win too?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. The timing sure seems right for 1991 for that to be that situation.
It really shows you
considering his parents.
It really shows you how much has it changed, though. See, like you look at then and today, and it's like a bunch of fucking meatheads fighting for the main strap, and then you look at the mid cards, the Intercontinental Championship, and it's Ziggler and Rollins. Back then, it's Hart and Perfect. So just workhorses.
Joe, you were gonna jump in there.
Oh, I was honestly just gonna say, Tommy, I need you to get me a classic "Will You Stop" from Gorilla Monsoon.
I had it on here at one point, but let me see if I
remember.
Let's see if I can find it here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Will you
Yeah, I
stop?
love. That's close enough. Seriously, Roddy Piper was psyched for this match.
It's like for everything.
Yeah, coke is a hell of a drug.
Oh, I don't think Tommy's ever gonna find it. It's gone for
Absolutely right.
I can't find it here. Hold on. I'll just. I don't know why I just didn't do this in the first place. I'll just do this. Well, Gorilla. I was gonna do my body impression, but it fell off there. I used to be able to do a good one. Now I can't remember how to do it. So
That's because Jesse Ventura went completely insane.
He went. He's always been. He's a maniac.
Will you stop?
He There she be.
I finally found it there.
You know I got 0 F's to give.
All right. So, I guess that's it. I don't got anything else to talk about here, but besides our match of the week.
Match of the week.
And actually, Joe, I want to talk about your match of the week first so we can kind of get into everything going on NXT. But go ahead with your match of the week, Joe.
I'm going to go the Bar versus the Usos. You got two really physical teams. Usos cutting an awesome promo right before the match walking out to the ring, and the Bar, stepping up, and they got that win.
That was your best of the week. Your match of the week was Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler.
Oh, man.
I found our Easter egg.
Pause for edit.
No edit. Just continue.
Good point. Yes. So Candice LeRae and Shayna Baszler. What I liked about the match was they made a callback to the Mae Young Classic, and Candice LeRae knew how to escape. She was close enough to the ropes this time, and then set up an awesome sequence between the two before Shayna Baszler actually gets the chokehold on her.
Well, and like Candice LeRae, she hits the unprettier, aka the pulp friction, and then she hesitates before going for the moonsault, and that played into Baszler being able to come back and take her out. So I enjoyed that.
But again,
go ahead.
They put on a show. I'm just saying they put on a show with this one. And again, I think a lot of people were still doubting Candice LeRae, even though we've seen the talent she has. But this match will, solidify it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and I like the post-match attack where Kairi Sane comes running out and the referees keep them separated, continuing to build that up there as well. I like everything that NXT is doing. Again, it's just so good.
Everything. Everything.
I mean, they had the Mustache Mountain won a squash match versus the Boring Beards, and they invoked their rematch clause versus Undisputed Era at TakeOver Brooklyn. Then later in the show, the War Raiders come out and confront them outside in the parking lot and said, "We don't care who wins, but we are waiting for whoever is the NXT Tag Team champions after TakeOver Brooklyn." So I like everything going on in the tag division. Ciampa out there getting that heat. Just being that gloating champion. This is my NXT. I deserve it. All that stuff. And then the, Gargano coming out and chasing him the fuck out of there. Beating Aleister Black to the ring. And Aleister Black kicking Gargano in the face because Gargano's like, I'm the only reason that Ciampa is the champion. And then he's like, yeah, and that's why I'm going to kick you in the face.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he definitely deserved it. That, and I even like the fact that the tag teams were on so much on NXT because you had the Mighty versus Heavy Machinery and Street Profits for no reason show up in the crowd just partying.
Distraction. Too many distractions.
This was one of those distraction things that I loved because it made the baby faces look smart and the heels look stupid because they're just out there dancing in the crowd with the music playing, and that distracts the heels so that Big Dozer can tag out to Tucker Knight or whatever. Maybe it was the other way around.
Kentucky.
Right, so he can come in and run wild and get the win with the compactor over the Mighty But yeah, I like that reverse distraction where the good guys look smart for having their buddies, run around in the crowd and distract the heels.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get that very often.
And then I also enjoy this the EC3 Kona Reeves. The match was kind of what it was, but they did a nice story building up to it. But what's interesting to me with all of the stuff what's going on with EC3 and the Velveteen Dream is that EC3 felt definitely like he was being framed as a babyface in this match, and I feel like it's going to be the opposite story when it comes to him in the ring with Velveteen Dream. Where are you guys at on that on these possible roles for these two, or is this just a one night thing because it's fucking Kona Reeves and nobody cares about Kona Reeves and everybody's going to cheer EC3 versus Kona Reeves, and when it comes to going against Velveteen Dream, he'll just go back to being the cockier type of heel here?
I think he goes the babyface route because I think the crowd's gotten louder and louder with that theme song that he comes out to, and there's whether they hand him out or not, people are holding up the NX3 signs. I think he's having a lot of fun, so let him have his fun. And again, it doesn't matter what Velveteen Dream is. He could be a heel, he could be a babyface. You don't know what he is. He's just doing his thing.
Taco?
Yeah, it definitely gotta go babyface right now with the EC3 thing. He's cocky, but he's not a prick about it in a weird way. Especially going into a feud against Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream's, he's that devil's advocate a little bit. He has to poke the bear multiple times. Like he needs to play the heelish, whether he's being cheered or not. It's just he has the heelish, devilish ways, and that's how he gets the best reactions. If he pandered to everyone, there would be no reactions.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting because EC3 came off a little bit pandery, though. And I honestly, I don't think people are going to, I don't think, especially in Brooklyn there, I think Velveteen Dream is going to be a little more over. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with, because apparently they're going to meet and have a talk. EC3 is going to go bask in the experience, and they're going to talk about this situation, because this goes, of course, back to the Royal Albert Hall incident where the Velveteen Dream left EC3 in the tag match because he had hurt his ankle. So maybe Velveteen Dream will explain himself and EC3 will understand, and these two will become friends, and they'll start a tag team. Who knows? That is some Russo-ass bullshit right there.
Wow, yeah, dude.
What
else?
else?
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
My botch.
Velveteen Dream.
Taco, what is your match of the week?
I went with that Omega and Saber match from God, was that this morning?
Was that?
I don't remember which day it was.
I don't know.
Right? Shit runs together.
There's too many of them.
You could figure it out. Use the Google machine.
It's on there.
Kenny Omega, the champion, going up against Zack Sabre Jr., the submission machine.
That was today, yeah.
It was just a hell of a match. It wasn't your typical Kenny Omega match to me, and pretty much everything that he did, Sabre had an answer for. So it was fun to see, a lot of these moves and Sabre do his thing with them, and just I was just a lot of times it's like watching a jiu-jitsu bout, just with all the back and forth in the middle of the ring. So it was fun shit.
Well, and Kenny Omega, too, showing that he could kind of hang doing that style, but then the story going into the match was Kenny Omega saying, yeah, I can do that style. I can mat wrestle. I can chain wrestle, but that's boring. Nobody wants to see that, so I'm going to wrestle a more exciting style. And so that was a bit of a story in there. And also for me, because it was like a semi-main event match, I thought it could have been better, but I thought it was smart to leave us, the fans that were watching it, left wanting more. And so we didn't see Kenny hit the one-winged angel in the match. Zack Sabre got his submission hold on that he calls orienteering with napalm death, but Kenny escaped and made it to the ropes. So we didn't get, and the finish, which I won't spoil who won it, but the finish was a roll-up win. So
questionable roll-up win too.
Right. So there's some controversy there, and you want to see the rematch. So yeah, all around a really great story there, and good stuff coming out of the G1. For my match of the week, I'm going to stick with the G1. I'm going Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii. Just a hard-hitting battle, a war between these two, just killing each other. I mean, it was Kota Ibushi, who's more known for his finesse and high flying. He has good striking as well, and he tries to hang in the striking game with Tomohiro Ishii, but he just cannot. Tomohiro Ishii continues to have Ibushi's number in the striking game. Like, Ibushi will just hit him, and then Ishii will come back with one elbow or one chop and just knock Ibushi down, just murder him.
There's Adam, he falls down.
And then, Ibushi comes back again and hits some other spectacular thing. They trade each other's finishers in the match. In other words, Ishii steals Ibushi's moves, Ibushi steals Ishii's moves, going for near falls back and forth. Just thought a phenomenal match. I gave it 4.5 stars. I would have given it 5 if the only thing that bothered me about the match was a little bit of the no-selling stuff. Sometimes like the no-selling late in the match can be very effective when done very well, and Ishii is usually very good at timing those spots, but I just thought they went to him a little too early in the match, and then when they came back to him late in the match, it was like, well, you've already done that, and it just kind of was what it was. But again, I'm not complaining about this match. This was a phenomenal, great match.
Watch this shit.
So yeah, get on your G1 Climax, people. So that is it.
By the way, my
Go ahead.
actual picks for the end is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Okada, and I had Okada winning.
You finally got your G1 picks in 3 weeks into the tournament, is what you're saying.
Oh, I had my picks. I just never added them up.
Oh, okay, I got you. I see. Yeah, that's right, because you made your picks, but you didn't add up what the points were at the end of it. So okay, and then who do you have winning the whole thing then?
I had Okada winning.
You got Okada winning. Okay, well, Zack Sabre has a little bit of a chance left, but not very much.
I think.
Yeah, I'm not doing well.
I think he can tie with Omega, but Omega has the win over him.
Well, I was going to say he can't tie with Omega unless Omega starts losing. But again, yeah, with Omega having the tiebreaker over him, because Zack Sabre, he's already lost. Sabre's lost to Sonata and Ibushi, and then just lost to Omega, and he's only got 3 matches left. So it's going to be tough because Omega's sitting on the top there, undefeated with 12 points right now. So again, check out Strong Honor for all the speculation going on with the G1. Big week coming up this week. We're getting close to the end, so every show is going to have implications going towards the finals. So check out StrongHonor.com, SLTDWrestling.com for Strong Honor. This podcast as well. Some other podcasts. There's an Impact podcast. There is one where they talk about the world of sport that just got started back up in the UK. So that's another thing to watch out there.
Got me the ratings.
So yeah, that did a hell of a great ratings over there in the UK.
No, I was talking about us.
Oh. What was I saying again? Follow me at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Follow the show at BPW Podcast, and rate, review, and subscribe, please, on iTunes. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HCREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for checking out the show. Bye.
Peace.
My botch.
You gotta embrace the sucky part.
Okay. New Face of America wants you to do your job now.
Holla, player! Randy! Some women don't like to be called sturdy.
I'm also going to be out next week because the Cat Video Festival has come around again. I'm going to that.
I was going to ask you about that too. I forgot. I saw that. I heard that.
There's a cat video festival again.
Yeah.
Every year, baby.
I might have to call in too.
Nerds.